Well, how's everybody doing today on this beautiful Saturday? First day of college football. Well, Tracy always tells me I need to do some videos of the garden, and to prove it's me, it is me. I am the one doing this. So I thought I'd do a little tour of the garden. And I don't want to do a Facebook Live in case I mess up and say something I shouldn't. Y'all, people who know me know how I am. So, here we go. Alright, so we're going to start at the front. This may take a little while, so you have to bear with me. So here we have some hairy balls milkweed. And I know that's a funny name, but its real name also is swan milkweed. And this is young here. This milkweed is young, but the caterpillars have been, the monarch caterpillars have actually been laying on it. And we've probably got 20 off of these little plants right here. And they're not very big, and I'll show you some big ones in a minute. And so we just started this front. We redone the front bed of in front of the house. And so we have a lot of annuals and perennials, and got a few hydrangeas, which Tracy always had trouble. We always had trouble with the regular hydrangeas, so these little limeys, they do really well. And so we started growing these. And then she's got some gomphrena in the pot there. And this is a pink butterfly bush. And it smells really good. I mean, it smells really good. And then you go down here and you have some sweet potato vine there. And then this little plant right here is the host plant for the pipevine swallowtail. Now it is white vein Dutchman's pipevine. And in a second I'll show you what its bloom looks like. It actually looks like a pipe, a smoker's pipe. And then we come over here and we've got some more. And let's see, here's the bloom right here. So when it opens up, when it opens up, it kind of looks like a smoker's pipe. You got one right there. But we don't have any pipevine swallowtails for some reason. We haven't had any lay on any of it in the last 2 years. And this is Kathy's Candy Verbena. That is actually, and that's some more, that is actually a native to Tennessee. And this particular cultivar was discovered in a field in Carroll County, Tennessee. And the UT Ag Center was given some of it, and they started to propagate it. And now they sell it at their spring and summer sales. And we've got some, what is this, camellias. We haven't planted those yet, we're waiting. We've got a location we're going to plant them in, and I don't want to plant them just yet. And then we've some more verbena. And then here we have ironweed, which is also a native. It's getting ready to bloom. It blooms in the fall. And that's very important for the monarch butterfly migration. And it's small right now. It'll get a little bit bigger, but it won't get as big as some of the other native ironweeds. That is Mexican sage. That as well. It blooms late too. It'll bloom late August, September, all the way up till frost. And it is cold hardy. It'll die back to the ground. And that is, here is going to be some bee balm. And it blooms in the spring. So it's done blooming. And over here we have some anise hyssop. And when you rub it, the leaves, and you smell of it, it smells like licorice. That's anise is one of the ingredients in making licorice. It's also called agastache, and the butterflies and bees love this stuff, and it's native. And then there we have a young, new, native, I'm messing up. It's a fiber optic button bush. I've got so much stuff out here, it's hard to keep track of what I got. So that's a new one. And we'll get over here, going over this way. And I got some azaleas there. And this right here is Kufia. And it's Vermillionaire is the cultivar. And the butterflies don't like this as much, but the hummingbirds absolutely love this stuff. And sometimes they're called firecracker plants, but it is a Kufia, and like I said, the hummingbirds actually love it. One of their favorite things, as well as this salvia here. And you've got some more. Now you'll see how big that is. That's bigger Hairy Balls milkweed. And then you see the bloom. Now, we've gotten several caterpillars off this one. And I think as of last night, we were up to 206. And I know when I was going to pick milkweed for them this morning, I've seen several more. So I'll probably collect more tonight. Me and Tracy. So hopefully we'll see one out here while I'm doing this video. And we have some more salvia. And then we have some lantana in here. And back there in the back, and right in there is some, now that is swamp milkweed. And then here we have a different variety of Kufia. Now I know people always talk about putting tall stuff in the back and short stuff in the front. I don't really do that. That's not how nature does it. So this is another brand of Kufia. There. So it's kind of just thrown in here together, just like it would be in natural. And then Tracy loves canna lilies. So we've got some canna lilies here, and these were little bitty when we got them this year, and they've grown that much. They grow fast. And this is another one here. And then here we've got some, also got daylilies, which they're done for the year. And got a zinnia in there. I threw little zinnias in here. And right here we have a clematis here. This is two types that's growing here. That's one of them there. We have another one, Princess Diana, that's not, we hadn't planted yet. And it's gonna be a little bit, it's red, and actually red and white. It's really pretty. And then Tracy's Japanese maple. And then jasmine there. And come over here, and we have some button bushes. Now this is how big they'll get. Now in the spring they'll have a bloom on. It's round, and this is the seed head, and it's waiting to, it's forming its seed head now, and it'll get brown, and it'll just basically, you just grab them and push them, and they'll crumble, and the seeds fall out in your hands. But they if you're going to plant them, their seeds need to be cold stratified. So what I do, and I made a mistake last year of doing this, I collected the seeds in the fall and brought them in, and I didn't cold stratify them, and they didn't grow very well. What I did year before last, I didn't collect them till the spring. They'll stay on here, and then I collect them in the spring, and almost every one of them came up. That is because they naturally cold stratified, and what that means is they have to go through a freezing, thawing, freezing, thawing, freezing, thawing, and it breaks the shell on the, or the zygote, I guess that's what you would call it, on the seed, and makes it easier for them to germinate. And this is, now that's not a host, well, that's a host plant for some things, but we don't have anything on them. Azalea moth, I think, some sort of sphinx moth, but this is sweet bay magnolia. You'll see them a lot of places. They're host plant for tiger swallowtails. They don't hardly ever use this. They much prefer to lay their eggs on tulip poplars, which we have plenty back here. And so we don't have any hardly lay on that. Now this little bush, or what's left of it, is a spice bush. And this is the host plant for the spice bush swallowtail. Now, they have eat this almost up. Oh, there's one right there. So there is a little one. And that is the caterpillar for spice bush. Now, they'll go through 4 or 5 different formations. Now, when they first start out, they'll look like a little piece of bird poop. And then they'll start to change. Now, that still looks kind of like it would be bird poop sitting on there. But they'll do is he's going in his leaf now. See where he rolled his leaf? Now he's going up inside that leaf, and that's where he'll stay. Now you'll see there's a rolled leaf there, and there's a rolled leaf there. There's a bunch of them. Now there's probably not enough spice bush left on here to make it till they go into their chrysalis, but their other host plant is a sassafras, and we've got a couple of sassafras trees really close back there in the woods, and they'll just crawl over to it and go up to it. And so, well, it's 12 o'clock. Alright, well, alright, so we've also got chass trees or vitax trees here. Now they're done blooming for the year. They like to bloom in spring, early summer. Just a couple of them there. The butterflies love those. Bees too. Bees love them, especially natural native bees. And here's a butterfly bush. And got 2 butterflies on it. That's a tiger swallowtail. And the other one looked like a spice bush swallowtail. And then here you have some very eat up tropical milkweed. And so here's a caterpillar right here. Here's a monarch caterpillar right here. Right there's one. And with it are milkweed tiger moth caterpillars. Now they'll live together. They don't hurt each other. They live harmoniously together. See, they're all over this one here, the tiger moths. So a lot of this eating on here is both monarchs and the tiger moth, milkweed tiger moth swallowtail. Tiger moths, not swallowtails. A little pineapple sage there, and some more lantana. A little lantana there, another butterfly bush. I'll take, and let's go around here. And here's some hardy lantana here. Now it will survive, or supposedly will survive. I haven't had any luck with it in a couple spots. So I moved it to another spot to see if this would stay a little warmer here, a little more protection. And I'm gonna try mulching it really heavy this year. But this lantana should come back. Most lantanas are only annuals here. They'll live for one season, but they grow really, really fast. So, and that's a Weigelia. It's done blooming for the year, and I need to cut it back some. Now this is also a Vitax. Now see how big it gets, and I'll trim it up this year, but it's still blooming because this one is basically a different cultivar than the other ones. And in the morning and the late afternoon, the bees will be all over this stuff. And people say, bees, you mean honeybees? I'm like, no, I'm talking about the native bees. Honeybees are not native to the United States. They were brought here by the European settlers. So everything that we have here, any natural plant that we have here growing in the United States, can be actually pollinated by our native bees. Oh, here's another one. Now this milkweed looks a little rough because it's swamp milkweed, and it's one of the first ones to come up in the year, so it's been through some stuff this year. But there is a monarch caterpillar on this. There it is right there. Did I get it? It's in there somewhere. There it is right there. So you'll come out here and you'll think you got them all, and the next day you'll see more. But what happens is they'll crawl down sometimes at night to the base, and see, they'll get in that grass where I don't mow it. That's the reason I don't mow close to it. And they'll hide in there. They'll hide from predators and stuff. There's another one. There. They'll hide from predators and they'll get away from them. And birds will eat them, but they'll only eat them once because it'll make them really sick. But the bad thing is they've already killed that caterpillar, and that does no good. And you got some more butterfly bushes. You've got some beauty berries. Now those aren't the American beauty berries. Those are not native. I try to plant a lot of native stuff, but these will not spread. They're not invasive. And we have some more milkweed. I don't see any on them offhand. It's so thick in there, it'd be hard to see them right now. A lot of times I'll use a black light to find them at night when they're hidden really good, and they'll glow under the black light. And got some blueberries here. And then those zinnias, they're terrible. They look terrible right now. They're the first ones I planted this year, and so they're at the end of their cycle. Now they'll keep going. It would probably be good if I went through there and cut the tops out of them after their first bloom, but I can't seem to do it. And then a lot of people say, man, I can't stand to have grass in my stuff. Well, I don't like it either, but that's natural. So it's going to grow in some of this stuff. It's good for the bugs. It gives them places to hide. They can also raise their young in there, and we need insects, believe it or not. You know, they're beneficial too. You'll see there's a lot of different butterflies out there. There's a Gulf. That's a Gulf fritillary. And there's another Gulf fritillary there. It looks like one. That could be a variegated. No, that's a Gulf. Well, and there's a monarch over there. Now we had some females, and that looks like a male. That's a male because it's got 2 dots on its back wing. But we had some females out here yesterday laying more eggs. Yeah, that's most certainly a male right there. Now I'll never get close enough to show you what it looks like. I'll have to show a picture to you what they look like to tell the difference in the male. But on one of those lines, you'll see a dot, and there'll be one on each side, and that indicates that it's a male. And another tiger swallowtail. There's another monarch. So we'll start seeing them more now. Tennessee is actually the state that is the farthest south that they will actually stay all year. I was about to say migrate. But they'll start pushing through here September, October. The numbers will increase. I seen them all the way up into November last year because it was really warm last fall. You know, we had temperatures in the 70s, some 80s in November. And so they stayed around a little while. As long as they've got stuff to eat, they'll hang around. So there's two right there. Now, there's two monarchs there, and then there's a spice bush swallowtail there with them. Now this is Hairy Balls here, more, and it's been playing longer than any of it. And you'll see, let's see if I can get close enough. Now that's a female, now that's a male. Let's hopefully he'll open up his wings there and you can see him. There's a dots on them. Now a lot of people confuse a monarch. There's a mimic butterfly called a viceroy that looks just exactly like a monarch, but on the backs of their wings they have a straight line. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. There's a dot right there. I can't believe he's being still enough for me to get this close. They're usually really skittish. And then you have some more tropical milkweed. Now here's ones that's not eat up. Now they'll come over here and they'll lay the eggs in the tops of these things in the blooms because they're really hard to find. And you've got to really be looking for them. And they're really smart about it. They won't lay it in ones that's almost done blooming because once they bloom, they'll die and they'll fall off. So they'll lay it on fresh blooms. And this is why they call it Hairy Balls. Now this is the seed pod here for Hairy Balls. Got these little hairs on it. And they'll dry up and they'll disperse their seeds everywhere. Now this is an annual here. It is native to South Africa. But it is a native here. And not native, it's an annual here. It's native to South Africa. And it will die back. But it will come back from seeds that fall on the ground in the spring. And here's one that's busted open here. See, here's one that's dried up and busted open. And it's starting to come out here. And it'll split open and all these little seeds that's in here will come out. Let's see if there's any in them. Looks like most of them's already come out of there. But they're all over there. There's no telling how many seeds is in here. They're everywhere. There's another one that's about to do that. And here's some Kufia. This is bat-faced Kufia. The hummingbirds love it. It should have been in a different spot. It doesn't like shade too much. There's some more salvia. But it's doing fairly good there. There's actually some lantana in there that's not liking that because it's so thick in there from this. But we've got several off of this. I don't see any caterpillars on it now. There may be some on there. It's just going to be very hard to see. But they'll make, if I don't get them, they can make a chrysalis in there. That's how they do in nature. And we'll go on out here. And we'll make another bed next year there. That's going to be perennials there. That's all annuals right there. And this will be a perennial bed. Probably some more agastache and maybe some veronica in there. But you want to draw in butterflies and keep them, then you need to plant this stuff. Now this is Mexican sunflower. Easy to grow, loves the heat, doesn't mind drought, and will continue to bloom until frost. And you can see they are absolutely loaded with blooms, and they're tall. So they're over 8 foot, some are over 8 foot tall. But they are packed with nectar. And then there's the seed heads. Now you can get seeds out of here, and I'll probably start collecting seeds out of here. And see, what they'll do is they'll stay up and then they'll droop when they're ready, and those seeds will fall out on their own. But man, you talking about hard on your fingers. That right there is sharp. So you gotta be careful. Basically what I do is I just take them, cut them off, and then I'll bang that seed head on something hard and let those seeds fall out, and then I'll collect them that way. But there's a spice bush swallowtail there. But the butterflies in the morning and late in the afternoon will have this thing covered up. And I've got it in several. This is mostly just all. There's some other stuff in here. I started off with some early season natives in here, and then spread the Mexican sunflower in with them, because I knew that once they were done, the Mexican sunflowers would take over. And I've got some more zinnias over here. And there's a coreopsis growing right there in my blueberries. That's all natural. I didn't plant that. So birds may have done that. But here was a bunch of zinnias. And now you got some coreopsis in here. A lot of this come up from last year. But they absolutely love zinnias and Mexican sunflower. If you're ever going to have two things in the garden to draw butterflies, it's going to be zinnias and Mexican sunflower. They absolutely love it. And another one is blue mist flower, but it can get crazy. It can take over. But they love it. And I don't have any. Well, it's a whole lot better feeling out here now than it was a couple of weeks ago. Well, it's really going to feel good next week when that cold front comes through. Talking about highs, maybe in some days may not make it out of the 70s. Oh, there's another monarch. Now this stuff right here, because some of this stuff I just let go, I mow around it, but some of these spots I just let come up natural. Now I really don't know what this is. Now Sage told me what it was yesterday, and like most things, some I can't remember, but this is also a host plant for a bunch of caterpillars. And let's see if we can find one that's on here. Now people will say, oh, it's just a weed. You'll see, look, there's some wasps on it. We had some caterpillars on it yesterday. There's one right there. That's a tiger moth. Just a regular tiger moth caterpillar right there. But that's the host plant for it. So when you see this stuff growing, and you think, you know, that's just a weed, I'm gonna pull it up. That don't need to grow. That's not pretty. That's not manicured. You know, that looks terrible. They do have a purpose. They got pretty white blooms on them too. See, I think that's the moth right there. Over there. And you got some coreopsis in here. Some zinnias. This all come up. I did not plant anything in here last year. This all come up naturally after I planted it. All this come up from its own seed. Now I will probably cut this in the fall and then burn it a little bit. There's a lot of natives that won't come up without fire, believe it or not. Alright, so woolly Dutchman's pipevine, also host plant for pipevine swallowtails, none. I don't know what the deal is. Then we have just a old, what's them things called? Some kind of bean, hyacinth bean. Deer love it. They've been eating it. They can't reach up there. And then we have, and you might get to watch one lay eggs. All right, this is a passion vine, and there it's a host plant for Gulf fritillaries and variegated fritillaries and giant fritillaries. And there's one right there hovering around. She's getting ready to lay an egg. I guarantee you she's going to lay eggs. There she goes. She's trying to find some place to lay an egg. Here, come on. She wants to lay one right here. Oh, she wanted to be on camera. Well, anyway, there she is. Oh, there she is again. Let's see what she does. Come on. Play along with us. That's what she wants. She's not here to nectar on this. She's wanting to lay eggs on it. She's wanting to lay an egg. There's another one. Well, besides that, they're all over here already. They've been laying eggs on this like crazy. And you'll see their caterpillars there. I mean, there's a bunch of them in here. Now this vine here is only a year old. There's more than one. There's 4 of them. But it's only a year old. And it's already grown like that. And there's 4 on here. And they'll have passion fruit on them. Now, you hear passion fruit in the store. Yes, this is a similar family as what you buy in the store, and these are edible. Once they fall off, you can eat them, and they are rather tasty. But you have to eat around the seeds, and it's an acquired taste. But they're all over here. There's some there. Now I'll show you the difference. Now that is, if I can find one, that is a Gulf fritillary caterpillar. Now this is a moth that also uses this as a host plant. But they're all over this thing, and I'm going to see if I can find one. Just bear with me here for a second or two, and I'll see if I can find a, here's one. He's going to play along. Now this is a variegated fritillary caterpillar. Now you see the difference in the color. And there's another one. Oh, I guess it is. I don't know if I got it in the camera or not. There it is. I can't hardly see out here for the sun. And they're all over this thing. Me and Tracy come out here the other day to count, because most of the time we come out here be 4 or 5 we'd see. But they have been laying like crazy. Now, they won't start laying really good until end of July, August, September. And they laid on it when it was really small. And this stuff grows fast. Now, don't get me wrong. It grew to about 2 foot tall last year. And I only had it planted from I guess the end of July until frost. And it dies back. But this is what it did just this year. Now, if you're going to have this, you need to have a place that you can let it go. Now, that's probably 12-foot long fence there, and it's taking over that. And you want to be able to mow around it because this stuff will spread. Don't think it won't. If you put it somewhere you can't control it, it will take over. But it makes a pretty vine, and it is a great host plant for those. And it draws them in. You want butterflies, you can not only plant what they like to feed on, but what they like to lay their eggs on. And it will keep them around because they know they've got both. They've got somewhere to lay their eggs, they've got somewhere to rest, and they've got somewhere to eat. Those are the 3 most important things. I was going to see if I could find a bloom. I don't see any blooms on it. But this is also native. It's a native to Tennessee, most of the southeast. So you can grow it here, and it will grow. You can tell. Now, I've got it up on a little hill here, and it does just perfectly fine. Used to be, when this was nothing but fields, a guy, Denver Collins, most people who live out here know Denver or knew Denver, he grew watermelons and cantaloupes out here. And when I built my house, after he had quit doing that, it changed the way it looked. But all right, well, I guess that's it for the day. I told Tracy I'd do this one of these days. She kept after me about it, so I finally did it. There's some more there. There's a little bitty one there. And I was going to show you, this is what its chrysalis looks like. Oh, listen to my knees pop. There's one in its chrysalis. This looks like an old dead leaf. So that's the way it disguises itself. And it kind of looks like the old dead on top of that passion vine, the old part of the bloom. That's where the bloom was at. But the blooms smell really, really sweet. Kind of a sickening sweet, really, if you ask me. But they're really pretty. There's a whole bunch of them right up in there again. I really wish we could have been able to see one of them lay eggs there. But the eggs are really tiny. Unless you see one lay one, it's hard to find them. Because they'll even lay them on the end of those tendrils. And you won't ever see them. But that's it. Oh, let's go over here. I forgot about this other stuff. Which I'm watering some stuff up there at the front. because it's on a slope, and when it rains it kind of runs off, so it dries up first. But we have some zinnias up there, and two new plants, two new bushes we planted this year. They're lepidenza, they're bush clovers, and they'll get really big, but in the fall they'll have all these little purple blooms on them. All right, so there's a Rose of Sharon, that's the pink one there, and another pink butterfly bush, hardy hibiscus. This is kind of natural here. We kind of let it go in here. Now there's some milkweed in here. There's some zinnias. Goldenrod. Now a lot of people see this and they go, "Oh man, why do you let that grow? It makes me sneeze. Oh my God, that just destroys my allergies." No, it doesn't. Goldenrod has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with your allergies. That is ragweed. Two different things. This right here is great. I mean, absolutely great for pollinators. And look at all of them on there. Wasps, bees, butterflies. And we got a little, what is this crap? Oh, crap. That is hummingbird vine. I never thought it will come up too. You plant it somewhere, it'll come back again the next year from seed. It's guaranteed to come up. But Tracy seen this yesterday and she said, "I love that combination. Can we do that every year?" And I'm like, I don't know, because you just never can tell what either one of them's going to do. But the red mixed in there with the yellow, she absolutely loved it. There's some milkweed there, in there. And there's some more. That swamp milkweed, and some more hardy hibiscus, some more milkweed, more zinnias. Tracy's Thai giant elephant ear. Look at the size of that leaf. Now that's not as big as the leaves will get. They'll get a whole lot bigger. Now this one just planted this year. She got this year and wanted me to plant it out here, and I did. And see, there's new leaves coming up there. But that thing will get huge. Now it will come back next year, but it doesn't come back from a tuber. It actually comes back from roots in the ground. So it may come up right here this year where I planted it, but it may come up over here. It may come up over here. It may come up in all three places. But it will get big. And I'm hoping I will come in here and I'm going to cover it up on the ground with some mulch, real heavy in here. You know, I don't have any in here now, but I will, just for this right here, to kind of protect it from the cold. Our house faces north, so everything's north winds can hit this right here. Alright, and then this is more native stuff out here by the garden. Now this right here, nothing right here was planted this year by me. This is all from 2 to 3 years and planting nothing but native seeds in here. So we've got some coreopsis, lots of coreopsis in here. Evening primrose, which is this right here. Now Tracy don't like this tall stuff. She likes to be a little bit lower than that, but that's just the way things work sometimes. Now I'll let this go all year long, let it die back, and in the spring I will mow it down once it's dead and I will burn it back, and it will all come back again. Not like in the same spot, but it will come back. And the same as this one right here. And I think we're going to do some different stuff with this one this year. So I'm going to pull these posts out and then bush hog it and then fix it back. But it's got purple coneflower in it. It's got all kinds of native stuff. And some not native. It's got goldenrod in it. It's got wild blue indigo, all this other stuff. And then up here you've got one of our favorite ones. Is actually short-tooth mountain mint. I was going to say sawtooth mountain mint. But this stuff right here is a pollinator magnet. Now, it's not blooming right now. It's done blooming for the most part. But when this stuff was in full bloom, you could come out here and it would be absolutely wrapped up with pollinators. And if you grow a garden or anything like that, you need pollinators. So this is why I like to do it. They come over here and they pollinate my garden, and they come back over here. And then there's some common milkweed in here. And we have some another thing that the pollinators love is this right here, bluebeard. Now it will bloom twice a year. Most of the time, when it gets really hot, it will kind of stop blooming. But this stuff, the bees absolutely love this stuff. And that is bluebeard. And I've got it all down through here. Now this one right here is not looking too good. So it's probably just because it got really hot. And so but it will bloom again. And we have some now that's a burgundy colored butterfly bush. You got a couple of those. And then over here, which I should have shown you earlier, we've got some coreopsis in there. Got some more swamp milkweed here. And then that is a American beautyberry. And they bloom different, or basically. And they cluster around the stem, unlike those other ones. But this is the native one. Now you can eat these, and you can make jelly and jams out of it. We don't do that. I'm gonna see if there's a swamp milkweed. Now this looks terrible. Now it's been here all since spring, so it's seen its better days. But I'm gonna see if I can find this and show you in here. Just let me find it first, then we'll see if you can see it. There it is. That is a monarch caterpillar egg. Well, what am I saying? Monarch butterfly egg. Right there. So there were some females out here yesterday, and we figured they was laying eggs. So that's an egg right there. I didn't see more on this. That just might have been a drive-by egg laying. When they're serious about laying, they will lay like crazy, and they did a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and last week they laid like crazy. And then we have some pink Vitax trees out here. Now these are really nice. Pollinators love these. Little butterflies on them right there. Now you can get these at the ag center during their sales. And there's a spice bush on there. Spice bush swallowtail on them. Little buckeye. They have these for sale there. Now these are 2 or 3 years old. They'll be in small pots, but they'll grow fast. These are 2 years old, probably. Now this is a new bed we put out here this year. Now, this one is really alive. Really alive here in a minute, you'll see. Now, they absolutely love lantana, and these are profusion zinnias. So they are compact, they stay small like this, and they continuously bloom. And the good thing about these is you don't have to deadhead them. They will grow above their old blooms and hide them. And this one, I don't know what happened to this one. Something looks like something laid in it. Probably our cat laid in it. But that's some more Harry Balls milkweed. That's a little young too. It's just now starting to bloom, or been blooming, but there's probably some caterpillars on it. But you'll see here, this is lantana here. That you'll see down here, they're absolutely alive. Butterflies love lantana. And the great thing about lantana is it loves the heat and direct sunlight. You don't have to put it in the shade. It does not like shade. And so they love it. So there's a Gulf fritillary, tiger swallowtail, a couple of Gulf fritillaries on there. It just kind of mix match the colors. I didn't really care. Tracy wanted it out here and I planted it for her. So I just started planting. So like I got 3 white ones together out there. And it's kind of varied down here. But when I planted them, only thing it told me what color they were was the label, because they wasn't blooming. But they really put on a show this time of year. There's some more profusion zinnias. And then there's the zinnias up there that I'm watering. Even though we've got some pretty good rains the last couple of weeks, they'll still get dry. But that's that one right there. I think that's it. I hope y'all enjoy this video. You know, I always watch other people's videos, TikTok. I follow a bunch of gardeners on TikTok, and I tell you, one of the best ones locally is Jason Reeves. He is the head horticulturalist at the University of Tennessee Ag Center here in Jackson. Now, he has a Facebook page called Jason Reeves in the Garden, and he is really knowledgeable about this stuff. I learned a lot of stuff from him. If you give him a follow, you'll learn something too. Especially if you're into this. If you're not, you know, it's kind of not everybody's cup of tea. I understand. But I kind of got it from my grandmother and my mother, and then Tracy loved to do it, so you know, when I do something, I go all out most of the time. Knows me. I go all out. I don't like to do it halfway. So it's always growing and expanding. Now this year is the most monarch caterpillars we've ever collected. And I think the most we let loose was 2 or 3 years ago. We let loose 50. This year, like I said, we're over 206 now, caterpillars, and we're going to have more than that. They're still going to lay, hopefully lay up until September. We've let some loose in October. They don't really start their migration through here in October, so if they lay their eggs and can get hatched and stuff, they'll be good to do their migration. And these right here will probably be, especially ones that are born after this, will be the Methuselah generation. That means they will live the longest, up to 8 months, and they'll fly all the way to Mexico, to the central part of Mexico in the mountains, and they'll stay there all winter long until something tells them, hey, it's time to wake up and fly back through Texas Louisiana, Alabama, and lay eggs. And those will die, and the ones that are born there will move north, and they'll come through Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, Kentucky, Ohio, laying eggs as they go. Those generations will move up or stay local, especially if it's north of the Tennessee state line, Mississippi and Alabama. And they'll rear another generation, they'll die. That generation will rear another one, they'll die. And the last generation will head back south again to Mexico. Anyway, y'all have a great Saturday, and go Vols.